West is going to be very interesting to watch. But one matchup that's already like more or less solidified
Yeah, it
is
is.
the 4 and 5, because they're about 3 games back from second and third, which is the T
So
Wolves
yeah,
and Oklahoma City Thunder. So they're already a lock in for 4, which is the LA Clippers. And then
facts.
the Dallas Mavs are a lock in for 5 because they have a couple games up of the Pelicans or Phoenix.
Pel
The
yeah, Pelicans I
Pelicans?
think right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
Pelicans, yeah.
Pelicans. So 4 and 5 matchup is going to be Dallas and the Clippers.
Well, it depends who gets home court, right? Because I guess
Yeah,
I guess they can still flip, but I believe the Clippers have the tiebreaker, so it has to be like Dallas wins their last 2 games and like the Clippers lose their last 2 games in order for them to kind of flip.
yeah,
But no, that should be an interesting series. Um, who do you have in that series though? Because it's official. It's those two. It's Clippers, Mavericks. Who do you
yeah.
have in that series right now?
Well, Kawhi's hurt apparently, so it really
I
depends on. It
mean,
really does fall on him, and if it really does depend if PG wants to show up, and James Harden. So I would say aside from Kawhi, even if you get like a 70% of Kawhi, that's still good enough for you guys to eclipse the Mavs. But it really does rest on Paul George and James Harden on how well they play.
yeah,
But honestly, the way that the Mavs are playing right now. They
hottest team right
are
now.
they're like 16 out of their last 18 games winning.
Something like that, bro. They're
Uh,
crazy right now.
so that's and they're playing synchronized basketball. I don't know how they're making it work between Kyrie and Luka. I don't even know how that's working, but it's working. They're
Yeah.
both deadly scorers, and it's playoff time. So when you look at the experience that the Dallas Mavericks have, and Luka led the Dallas Mavericks to the Western Conference Finals a few years ago with
Yeah.
less of a team. So they're kind of poised to kind of beat the Clippers, in my opinion. What about you?
Honestly, man, like I got the series going in 7,
Yeah,
and this is contingent on Kawhi being healthy. I'll give 80, 85, 90% Kawhi if that's what they can get back. So this is contingent based on that. If he's not in the lineup at all, I got the Mavs for sure, probably in 6. But if Kawhi's in that, if Kawhi's playing, I I got the Clippers in 7. The
yeah,
reason why I say that is because up to this point, all right, I'm not saying in the future, I'm not saying going forward. Up to this point, a Luka-led basketball team has not beat a veteran team in the playoffs. Okay, last year they didn't make the playoffs, which was 2023. 2022, they that was the year that they beat. Oh, sorry, I'm blanking out. They beat the Utah Jazz in the first round, and then second round they beat. I forgot who they beat. The Phoenix Suns. Sorry, they beat the Phoenix Suns in the second round. Second round, who was led by Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul. They got to the Western Conference Finals, lost. Right. Um, on the flip side, on the 2021, they lost to the Clippers. 2022, 2020, they lost to the Clippers as well. So a Luka-led basketball team has not beat a veteran team in the playoffs yet. So I'm just going based on history, right? And if Kawhi is not injured or he's mostly himself, I have to give it to the vets, bro. You got Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Then you got James Harden, who could potentially be your third option, and then you got Westbrook being your fourth option, right? I think in the playoffs when benches get shorter, I think the Clippers have a better 7 to 8 man rotation than the Mavericks. But I'm giving it 7, so I'm saying that indirectly, I'm kind of saying that it can go either way. I'm just saying in that 7th game, especially right now that game would be in LA.
yeah,
I have to give it to the Clippers, just out of respect for what they've done. I've seen
yeah.
Kawhi, I've seen what he's done. Game 7 against the Philadelphia 76ers in 2019. So he knows what it takes to close out a series. Playoff P. He doesn't have to be the first option, so he cool. They got Norman
As long as he
Powell.
shows up, right?
As long as he
As long
shows
as he
up and
shows
just
up and contributes, then that's all we're asking from him.
that's all we're asking. But it's probably going to be one of the better round 1 series in the playoffs this year for sure. It's probably going to be one of the most entertaining, series. And I hate these series like these because it's like two great teams and like one team's going to get
Yeah,
knocked out in the
one
first
time.
in the first
Yeah,
round. You
yeah.
know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, I'm going Clippers in 7 as of today.
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, like when you look at like just those 4 alone, James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi, and Westbrook, there's a lot of experience, a lot of accolades, a lot of playoff experience. Westbrook has been in the finals before. James
Oh yeah, I
Harden
forgot about
has
that.
been, Western Finals.
And
Kawhi
finals.
has won. PG has gone pretty deep against like some big time teams. The Miami Heat back in the day, and his playoff run with the Clippers too. But yeah, you're right. But then on the flip side, you have the Luka Magic, right, and Kyrie, the
Right.
bucket getter, the playoff, the shot. That to me, that's the shot. That's a big time shot in the finals. And when you have two players like that, like I'm kind of concerned about the role players when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks because just the playoff experience and PG or Washington, PJ Washington doesn't really have tons of playoff experience, against especially players like Kawhi and PG and
Facts.
Westbrook. So I'm kind of worried about that. But if they're led properly and you get a lot of output and a lot of contribution from those two players and what you expect out of Gafford and all your other role players is going to be quite close. And if the game is close and some of those players on the other team kind of can make those mistakes that they're notorious for making, you leave it up to Luka in the fourth quarter, and I think you really have a good shot. So I mean, it'll be interesting. There's a lot
When the
of things
game slows down, though, if the game slows down, right? And I feel like PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford and stuff like that, those guys get a lot of their buckets in like transition, like alleys to the basket, like 3-pointers in transition and stuff like that. The game
Yeah.
slows down, right? And you're facing a team that they haven't played, like they're not playing their best defense today, but the
Mhm.
playoffs and the regular season are two different things, obviously. So I could see that, Kawhi Leonard, if he's healthy, of course, Kawhi Leonard and PG just, locking down and being like we're not losing this round. We're not losing.
Yeah.
You got James Harden that can set up people and stuff like that. You got, like Westbrook is out here, doing his thing and stuff like that off the bench, and Norman Powell. So like, I don't know. I've seen Norman Powell. I've seen Norman Powell in a championship run. I've seen him. So he's not scared of those moments either. Like you said, Washington, Gafford, like Tim Hardaway Jr. and those guys, like those guys haven't been there. Like Kyrie's been there. So yes, so this is probably the best team that Luka's been on in the playoffs, just because he's got a vet NBA champion with him, right?
Yeah.
But but like you said, I don't know if the way their play style is going to work. Like I don't know if that's going to work in the playoffs. I don't know if that's going to help them win. You know what I'm trying to say? But we'll have to see, though. We'll have to see. More so, if I would be worried about the Clippers losing outside of health, I'm more so worried about just the comments that PG's made. Ty Lue says that they're soft. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, those little things I'm more worried about than the actual talent on the court, if that makes sense. Because who knows? If these guys are mentally checked out, then who knows what could happen, right? Same thing happened in the bubble in 2020. People want to say they were mentally checked out, and then the Denver Nuggets came back and beat them, 3-1? After being down 3-1, the Denver Nuggets came back and beat them. So clearly, like mentally, they need to be there. And if they're not there, I guess anybody can beat them. In this case, the Mavericks. So we'll have to see, bro. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
And